Hi kids. Gosh, it was great to see some of you on Sunday at one of the park gatherings. We're working towards meeting together on Sunday mornings too, but that won't be for a while and things will look different for Stromlo kids for a little bit. I'll keep you posted on what's happening with all of that. This week we come to the end of the book of 1 Samuel. You might remember though that 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel were originally one big book, but the scrolls that they wrote the story down on weren't long enough, and so they broke it up into two sections, which we know as 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel. So although Saul dies at the end of 1 Samuel, we read in the beginning of 2 Samuel that the story continues and David finds out about Saul and Jonathan dying, and we hear his response. Dan is actually going to talk to us on Sunday from the end of 1 Samuel, so 1 Samuel chapter 31 through to 2 Samuel chapter 2 verse 7. And just like the story of 1 Samuel doesn't finish at the end of the book, it kind of didn't start at the beginning of the book either. The last line of the book of Judges says, "In those days, the Israelites did not have a king. Everyone did what he thought was right." And that introduces the whole idea of Israel asking for a king, setting up what we read about in 1 Samuel. So what have we learned in the book of 1 Samuel? Through the historical characters of Hannah, Samuel, Saul, David and Jonathan, as well as some of the more minor characters, we learn that God chooses who he chooses for his own reasons, not because people are righteous or good. We learn that God sends his Spirit to help people follow him. And we learn that even people who are chosen by God don't always follow him. And we are pointed to a king who will always obey, will always do God's will, and will always trust God. That is Jesus. We're also shown again and again that God will rescue his people. Now we know that Jesus is the king, but is he our king? We saw in 1 Samuel that God was the true king, but Saul didn't really let him reign over him. We know that Jesus is the king now, but we need to respond to him and let him be king over us. On the webpage this week, there is a link to the Who Will Be King booklet, as well as a poster of the Gospel Colours tract we learned a few years ago. Please have a read. Look over it with your family. Chat to your parents about what it means to be a true follower of Jesus, with Jesus as your king. Think about who really is king of your life. Ask God to help you trust him and follow him, letting him be king. The webpage also has some colouring in, some craft, and some activity sheets as well. Now, I won't be doing a video message each week for the holiday program as we look at the book of Jonah. We'll be doing things a bit differently, so keep an eye out, especially in the e-news, for what that might look like. For now, I'll say goodbye and leave you with one question. In your life, who will be king?